Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to show a couple cards that have some significant meaning to me. And I guess you'd have to go back to 1996, and the cards I'm going to be showing today are all from the 96 set. And the time in my life where I just finished my freshman year of college, and I was kind of trying to find myself in the world, if you will, and somehow ended up joining the military, and here I am almost 24 years later, and I'm still in the military, and I'm a couple of years away from retiring, and just reminiscing, and I'm looking through some old cards, and I've got a few 96 basketball cards that I wanted to show you today. So I'm going to hold them here at an angle so as not to get too much glare, but starting with a guy who really has no value, but Stephon Marbury. So the story goes, the night of the draft, it was back in June of '96, I happened to find myself in a hotel waiting to ship out to boot camp the next morning at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm watching the draft, seeing all these young guys that I had watched the previous year, the previous spring, play for their college teams, play in the NCAA tournament. And so seeing all these guys begin their professional careers, and there I was that night as well, beginning another journey, my own career that would take me to where I am today. And Ray Allen, really underrated, I think, Ray Allen. That's a cool apprentices. That I just showed you the Stephon Marbury, and Ray Allen and Stephon Marbury were actually traded for each other that night. And I'm a big Timberwolves fan, and yeah, I just wonder what would have been if the Timberwolves had kept Ray Allen. Another guy, the #1 overall pick, man, this guy, Allen Iverson, man, he was just a fantastic player in college. I remember watching him at Georgetown. Oh, man, the guy could just straight hoop. Man, he was awesome. Hall of Famer. I like these finest apprentices set. I was actually going to pick up the Kobe Bryant a couple weeks ago, and unfortunately, with what's happened, tragedy and just the prices shooting up, I don't know if I'm going to get it now. But another Iverson here. See, some of these are just near mid-8s. You know, I picked these up for a few dollars here and there. Really like the Flair showcase. They have certain rows. This is just a row 2, but it's got good 80s, or excuse me, 90s shine to that. And the Topps Chrome. I just picked this up recently. Noticed that the chrome is kind of faded on it. I don't know if that's... I've heard of sometimes these things greening, but I don't know if that's what's happening with this. Still pretty cool to have an Allen Iverson Chrome rookie. And then another guy, Antoine Walker. Watched him in college at Kentucky. Man, that squad in '96, whoo, they were loaded, man. Went all the way, won the NCAA tournament. It was no surprise. Kansas was also loaded that year, man. Kansas and Kentucky, man. Those are the teams to beat. And then a little known guy by the name of Steve Nash. This one's really nice. It's not nearly as faded along here as the other two previous cards of mid-9. Steve Nash. Man, that '96 class was just loaded with talent. Loaded with talent. And the best player of that whole class, show a couple of Kobe Bryant cards here. Now, it's funny because I got this card primarily because I'm a Kevin Garnett collector. And I've always liked this card. I pulled one of these from a pack back in '96. What I love about it, it plays off the fact all these high school students are coming into the league now. It's very symbolic in that aspect. Jermaine O'Neal, another guy for the '96 draft that had an impact in the league. And obviously Kobe Bryant. And it also kind of is reminiscent of the 1980 Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Dr. J card that is such a popular and iconic card. So I really like this 3-person card, and it's perforated so you could tear it out, but really cool, and just in a near mint to mid-8 grade. Then a couple Kobe cards. I've picked these up maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I always wondered why Kobe's cards were so cheap back then. I didn't know if, he's had a little bit of scandal in his past, but definitely one of the greatest players to ever play the game. So picked up this metal, I want to say a few years ago, for maybe $4 with some shipping and handling. Probably bundled it together if memory serves me correct. Cool card. And then another Kobe here. This is the Skybox Premium. Once again, I think I might have paid around $6 for this with combined shipping on another card. It's a cool image of him. And once again, I don't have a lot of Kobe cards, just a couple of these few. And then the last one I have, as I wrap this up, I guess some people call it Topps, the flagship. No, they're non-chrome, just the paper version, but the same image front and back, in a SGC Near Mint Plus. And I really believe I paid less than $5 for this card when I did, probably 3 years ago. You know, I think I was just strolling through eBay and bundled it with some other cards, you know, just like Kobe Bryant, man, he's a Hall of Famer shoe, and, you know, couldn't go wrong. And I'm glad I was able to pick up a couple cards. You know, I'm not obviously a big Kobe Bryant collector, but like I said before, me starting my military career in '96, that same night that these guys were getting drafted, there's a connection between me and that class, I feel, you know, just me personally. Just kind of, I remember how young and naive I was back then, and these guys, their playing careers are over, you know, and it just kind of helps me think back to that night back in '96. Never forget that night. Boy, I was nervous. Anyway, thanks for joining me on this trip down memory lane. I hope you enjoyed the cards, maybe even a little bit of my story. Once again, everybody, I appreciate your posts and comments, and I'll talk to you again soon.